Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode is brought to you by Kalshi. Use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. Lots to get to here on the show today. We finally got word of what that transaction was that we were anticipating. But the game did not go as the Brewers hoped on Wednesday night. Also, we got some updates on some injured Brewers, some good, some bad. But we'll get into that as well before we look ahead to the series finale coming up here today. But Robert Gasser was indeed the transaction that Pat Murphy was alluding to. As I kind of expected, as we talked about on yesterday's show, just kind of looking at this group, Tyson Harden as a dark horse, I thought. I still thought it was a little bit early for them to bring him up, but he was scheduled for Wednesday night and did end up pitching for the Nashville Sounds down there. But Robert Gasser is indeed the choice for the Brewers. He comes up and he gets a start on Wednesday night. And he was able to come up because of an IL placement, which Pat Murphy also kind of ominously alluded to, that there's going to be more to come on that front. And sure enough, Rob Zastryzny gets placed on the IL again. Now you may be thinking, oh, didn't Rob Z just get activated the other day? And yes, he did get activated. He had been dealing with a shoulder rhomboid strain. That had been going on. Then he goes on rehab. Then he suffers an intercostal strain, and then kind of goes back. Stays on the IL, goes back on another rehab assignment, and then finally, seems like okay, he's ready to come back. Gets activated, does not get into a game, but then gets put back on the IL with a left trapezius strain. So it's the traps for him. So it goes from the rhomboid to the traps. So it's just it moves up. Kind of the back of the shoulder a little bit there in the back. But either way, tough news for Rob Z. And we talked to him about the injury and just kind of felt that extra soreness. Trying to recover, trying to come back, and been fighting through it. Finally, he's like, "Hey, I need to get some work done." And then they get an MRI and they see a relatively minor strain, is what he called it. And it shouldn't be too long of a build up for him. But either way, Rob Z on the IL. That allows Robert Gasser to come back up to the big league roster. And Gasser did pretty well. He went 5 innings, gave up just 1 run, a home run to Victor Barracoto, allowed just 1 walk as well. Pat Murphy had been harping on the walks for Gasser his past couple of times out, which is part of the reason why he didn't do as well, which is part of the reason why he was sent back down to AAA Nashville. But Gasser comes up, allows just the 1 free pass. It doesn't end up coming around to bite him. The leadoff home run in the 5th was the difference in the game. It was the only scoring in the entire game as the Brewers lose 1-0 in this one. But Gasser said he felt he took a step forward with his command in that game, and Pat Murphy seemed a whole lot more impressed with how the command took a step forward. It's very important for him to throw strikes. Murphy had a really, really good just kind of quote, I think, earlier on in the pregame leading up to the start here for Robert Gasser, just talking about the strikes and the command that he needs. And Murphy said he has to be able to command the baseball. Free bases aren't a thing up here. It's just not. You can do that wherever else you want, whatever team you pitch on, you can do whatever you want. If you're going to pitch here, you're not going to give up free bases. Just not going to happen. So that is the primary area of focus, and he took a pretty good step forward in that direction. So that was good to see. Overall, it was a pretty solid start for Robert Gasser. And then Chad Patrick followed in 4 innings of relief. Did not allow a run. Chad Patrick was phenomenal. Once again, out of the bullpen, giving some length, allowing the rest of those bullpen arms to get a day of rest. And they were all great. And typically, that would lead to good results for the Brewers. However, Logan Webb was better. And Logan Webb ended up dominating the Brewers once again. Coming into this game, Logan Webb had made 7 starts against the Brewers in his career. And he had a 2.08 ERA in those 7 starts with a 4-0 record, 43 1/3 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts, 13 walks. Logan Webb, absolutely incredible against the Brewers. He's dominated them, and he dominated them again on Wednesday, going 7 shutout innings. He did not allow a hit until that 7th inning. He carried a no-hitter through 6 1/3 until finally Bryce Terang was able to break it with a single to left. He had a perfect game through 5. Sal Frelick broke that up with a walk in the 6th inning, but man, Logan Webb was good. Logan Webb has had his struggles this season. He really has. He's had some really tough outings this year, but he did a whole lot better in his last start. And talking to Bryce Terang after the game, he said, I don't know, maybe something clicked for him. Sometimes it happens. You make whatever minor adjustments, something clicks, and you're able to get back into your old self. Because we have seen Logan Webb be great for the past several years. I mean, he has been a top 10 Cy Young finisher each of the last 3 seasons. So he is obviously one of the better pitchers in the game, and he showed it again here against the Brewers on Wednesday night. I mean, that was a phenomenal performance. That was exactly what the Giants needed Logan Webb to be. That's what they have needed him to be, and that's what he was. And that's where one run can be enough to get you a win if you're the Giants. When you have a guy like Logan Webb out there, typically, I mean, not a lot of nights one run is going to be enough to get you the win, but it was for the Giants, and that's all the kind of more tough for the Brewers. They did have some opportunities late in the 8th and 9th innings. They had a couple of runners on, but Blake Perkins pops up a bunt. That's inexcusable. That's how Pat Murphy described it after the game. Inexcusable to pop up that bunt there. And then with 2 runners on, Gary Sanchez grounds into an inning-ending double play. And that was just another tough blow. Then you get to the 9th inning. Christian Yelich leads it off with a double. And you have Andrew Vaughn, Bryce Terang, and William Contreras coming up after that. You feel pretty good about your chances with a runner on second and nobody out. But instead, Andrew Vaughn grounds out to first. That does allow Yelich to get to third with less than 2 outs. Just get a ball in the air. Bryce Terang strikes out. So then you get 2 outs, and then William Contreras grounds out to end the game. So just some disappointing offense there for the Brewers in the 8th and 9th innings. They had their opportunities, but just simply could not take advantage of them. So that is tough to see, but the Brewers got to get back at it. Coming up today here. It's especially tough because we were talking Brewers perhaps over 4.5 and runs on yesterday's show, and that didn't come to fruition. They didn't even get over 4.5 hits in the game, so that's a larger struggle. But we bounce right back on it for this one here because on Kalshi you can trade every single game, and we're looking at this finale here, and Kalshi is feeling pretty good about the Brewers' chances. If you look over here, we got the Brewers at 62% currently trading on Kalshi, how things are looking. Adrian Hauser is going to be on the bump for the Giants, former Brewers hurler, and yes, I do say hurler intentionally. And then you have Coleman Crow on the bump for Milwaukee, but look, I'm feeling good about the Brewers at home, their chances to finish this thing off. The Giants really have not been able to put a ton of offense together, even in support of Logan Webb, not a ton of offense. So I'm liking the Brewers' opportunities here, looking at 62% chance to win there. That means a $100 trade will pay out $162 with a Brewers win over the Giants and a Brewers series win if they get the win here today. So that's a nice little extra chunk of change to throw in there. Because on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use this promo code FANARCHBASEBALL. It's right down here. My finger's pointing to it. To get $10 when you trade 10, Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. All right. We're going to take a look at some updates here as well on some injured Brewers as well. I've said as well too many times in a row there, but either way, we are moving on. The Milwaukee Brewers have several injuries to their pitching staff. Robert Gasser, who just came back. It's been a long day. I'll tell you what, Logan Henderson is who I meant to say there. Brandon Woodruff as well has been going through it. Quinn Priester. Quinn Priester having his rehab assignment transferred to the Arizona Complex League. He pitched the other day down there. Pat Murphy said the report was much better this time around for Quinn Priester. He was able to be pain-free. He was able to get the velocity up to 94 miles an hour, which I don't believe he had hit yet in any of his previous minor league rehab starts. He was facing some fresh out of high school kids and 17-year-olds from Latin America. He's facing some real young opponents there and real inexperienced ones. But still, the reports were much better on Quinn Priester there. Pain-free, velo back up a little bit closer to normal. So that is good to see. Brandon Woodruff threw a live bullpen session on Wednesday prior to the game, facing off against Brandon Lockridge and Blake Perkins. Those were the two hitters that he was going back and forth between. Originally, what they told us was that Woodruff was scheduled for a 4-inning live BP at about 60 pitches. 60 pitches was going to be the mark that they had him booked for. Ultimately, Woodruff only threw 3 innings in his live BP and 42 pitches. Now, I'm not sure if that's because the plan simply changed going into it, or Woodruff, after 3 innings, was saying, hey, that's it, I'm done here. I don't know exactly what was the case with that, why that ended up changing, but it did. I mean, what they initially told us he was scheduled for, and what he ended up doing was a little bit less. It was 1 less inning, a couple of fewer, 18, 20 fewer pitches than what they were originally anticipating. So there are going to be more steps after this that we know. We asked Pat Murphy the other day. He said, even with this live BP, even if that goes well, there's still going to be another step after that. I would imagine trying to build him up a little bit more and get to those 4 innings or 5 innings, get up to 75, 80-ish pitches for Woodruff at some point, whether it's in a live BP or whatever else. But they're going to try and take their time getting him back up to that. So the real test is just going to be how Woodruff recovers after this. How does he feel today? How does he feel tomorrow? If his body's able to bounce back pretty well and he feels good, then that means the session overall went well. So they're still going to kind of take their time and see just how things will be going here with Woodruff. So I'm still not anticipating him back imminently, but he is on track and progressing at least. But I am a little bit worried about dropping an inning there on that live BP from what was originally scheduled. Logan Henderson, meanwhile, got an injection for his low back tightness. He is scheduled to start throwing and start playing catch this weekend, but his estimated timeline to return isn't until around the end of the month or early next month. So it's going to be a little while. They have completely shut down Henderson from throwing. With that back tightness, it has made it pretty hard for him to throw a baseball. So he got an injection the other day here, got an injection on Tuesday. So that is going to be something that he's still going to be out for a couple more weeks. So not expecting Logan Henderson back until the end of the month at best there. Brandon Lockridge, though, some good news on him as he got some ABs there against Brandon Woodruff in the live BP session. He should be heading out to Nashville, to AAA Nashville, for a rehab assignment fairly soon, according to Murphy. So we could have Brandon Lockridge coming back in the near future here. He is, all the running drills, everything else that he's done has been doing very well. The at-bats against Woodruff went very well. So he's feeling good. He's feeling ready to go. And he'll be heading out to AAA here very shortly. And who knows how long he could be there. Murphy said that they could keep him on the rehab for quite a bit of time to get a lot more ABs under his belt there. But also, Blake Perkins just continues to struggle, and they may just want to get Lockridge back sooner rather than later and just kind of make that switch. So, but we'll see. But that is the update on Brandon Lockridge. He'll be heading out to an affiliate very soon. Jared Koenig struggled in his rehab outing for AAA Nashville, by the way, on Wednesday night. 2/3 of an inning, 3 walks for Jared Koenig, who was slated to go 1 inning, 20 pitches. Ends up throwing 23 pitches, only 9 of them for strikes. Not a great percentage there. Obviously, with the 3 walks, did not help and was not able to complete the full inning. But Koenig just kind of... They'll just kind of continue to see how he bounces back physically, and relieving is kind of volatile. Maybe it's just kind of a one-off kind of game where the command just simply wasn't there. But that is what Koenig put up on Wednesday night. All right. Just now kind of looking ahead to the series finale here that the Brewers have coming up. Coleman Crow on the bump for the Crew. He's able to make kind of continuous starts here for the Brewers for the first time in his career. His first couple of starts, it was you're up for one day and sent right back down. So now he's able to kind of maybe get a bit more settled in and maybe get a bit more into a routine here for Crow. So, but he's done pretty well in his first handful of starts. So expecting hopefully more of the same from Crow here. And I'd like to see a lot of those, high RPM curveballs that he has. Being able to bring those in. Adrian Hauser is on the bump for San Francisco. And Hauser, I mean, he's, in the words of Toby Keith, he ain't as good as he once was. 5.59 ERA on the season, a 1.56 whip. It's a far cry from what he was in his prime with the Brewers, especially back in like 2021, a 3.22 ERA, pitching a lot. And, had a pretty good season last year, bouncing between the White Sox and the Rays. Did much better with the White Sox. But for Hauser, 5.59 ERA, 3.4 walks per nine, which isn't too bad, but it's higher than it was last year. 5.6. He's never been a big strikeout guy, but strikeouts are a bit down this year as well. But you kind of know what you're getting with Adrian Hauser there. The Brewers know him very well, and they should be putting up a lot more than 0 runs against Adrian Hauser like they did against Logan Webb. I'll just say that much. So that's going to be the series finale here that the Brewers have, trying to get a series win over the San Francisco Giants. They took the first 2, lost the third one, got to secure the win with the 4th game here today before the Brewers head out on the road to take on Colorado, and then the Athletics, the Las Vegas Athletics, because they will be in Las Vegas for this series, not Sacramento. So that's going to be a fun one as well. And we'll be breaking it all down here on Brewers Daily, so be sure to subscribe and get notified. Follow me on Twitter as well, at dgasper24. Appreciate all of you watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.